So tonight we're going to talk about the 5 easy ways to generate more traffic to your website in 2018. This is what I tell all business owners when I talk to them. They come to me and they say, you know, we've tried a whole bunch of things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't work. And I says, you know, these are the 5 things that you absolutely and unequivocally need to have done. I'm originally from Paris, France. If you didn't tell by the first name and last name, Antoine Dupont. I am, which is why I say things funny once in a while, and I also put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, so if I do, please forgive me. I did actually hospitality and culinary school in Paris. This is how I started some 35 years ago. Holy moly, I'm dating myself here. And my first boss was Gordon Ramsey. I work with Gordon for 1 year at the restaurant called Le Gavroche in London. And so if you don't like this presentation and you want to insult me at the end of the presentation, you better bring your A game, because I have heard everything in the book. I've been for the last 30 years now in South Florida. You know, basically lived in old Tri-County, like everybody that's in South Florida has worked and lived in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And it seems like I've started in Miami and I'm moving myself up. And I think maybe in 20 years I'll end up in Orlando or something like that. But now I'm here. And like I told you, I'm a professional speaker. This is what I do. I travel all over the world. This was in actually last week in Bucharest, Romania, where I talked to 400 digital marketers in Romania, an absolutely beautiful country. If you ever get a chance to go, number one, people are beautiful, really good looking. I mean, I'm not serious. Like I just couldn't find anyone ugly. I was Uncle Fester over there, and just really, really nice people. Romania is trying to position itself as the central for digital marketing in Central and Eastern Europe. They're investing a lot of money, and I got to tell you, this was the best digital marketing conference I had been in the last 2 years, by far. Like, one of the things, I just want to give you a sense of things. They actually wanted to give people an experience, like it was all about the experience, and they, in between breaks, they changed the scent of the room, so when people would come back, they would have a different experience. And I was like, okay, now that's cool shit. Okay, this is like, I mean, you came back in the next thing and it was a vanilla scent. And then after that it was lemon. And so it would give you a different thing. I'm like, okay, you guys are like, you rock, okay? If you want to, if there's anything tonight that actually is, you know, mind-boggling to you, what I've said, you can share it on Instagram and Twitter at adupont65, and you can use the hashtag Antoine Dupont, or, you know, what a prick, whatever you want. You can use whatever you want. So let's talk about the context for digital marketing in 2018 and going in 2019, which is right around the corner. The first thing you need to understand is we are collectively spending 54% of our time on a mobile phone on social media. That is the reality of what we're dealing with out there with people. We're on our mobile and we're on social media, and this is not slowing down. It's actually going to increase in usage. So if there anything you need to understand, and whether you're dealing with clients or for your own agency, this is where we at. And sometimes I hear from business owners, you know, complaining about people. We don't talk to one another. We're in the train and we're not exchanging anything. We're not even looking at each other. You know, and all this thing, I hear that all the time. I says, listen, I'm old enough to remember how it was. Right? We didn't used to talk to each other either 30 years ago. I took the train, right? All we have now is we have a device, and instead of having one single annoying large newspaper, we probably have, like, you know, 50,000 newspaper that we have access to. So there's really no difference. Really what's different is our efficiency and how we're getting that information. So if you ever have anyone that complains about that, you tell me, I'll give you this picture. And I was like, this is 1950s, that's how it looked like. We didn't get any dumber, we actually are smarter, we're just more efficient. So the first thing, there's 5 essential things that you need to have. And this is going to be the one I'm going to be spending the most time on tonight. And it's videos. In 2018, going in 2019, actually you were asking just recently, what should I be focusing on? If there's anything I could tell you, and it says you want to look at videos. Every single one of you in this room will either have a full-time videographer or full-time video editor in your agency if you don't already have one. And if you don't, you need to solidify a relationship, because this is where it's going and it's not slowing down. This is what we want to consume. This is what we love. This is what we want. Get it now, and start to get moving. There's a matter of fact, we have Kevin here, so any one of you want to collect a business card at the end, you might want to make Kevin your friend, because if you don't have a need this month, you will have a need in 6 months from now, and it's coming big. So let me picture this, right? About 5 years ago, I was in my minivan, and the clock was off by an hour because we had just changed the clock, you know, like daytime saving. And I don't know how it is in your car, but in my car, you need a freaking engineering degree to change the clock, right? You have 3 buttons, it's just annoying. So I get the manual to learn how to change the clock, and I videotape it on my phone. So I'm going to have, next time I'm going to need it, I will have that. And I didn't know what to do with the video. So I upload it to my personal YouTube channel, and I forget about it. 6 months later, we changed time again. By the way, we're about to change time on Sunday, so it's a friendly reminder. But 6 months later, I get in my car, I get the video, and this is what I see. Right? The video has been viewed by over 38,000 people. Now, I want you to get the context, because at the time I had 4 videos on my channel. One of them had 17 views, which 12 of them were mine. But I had viewed my own video because I was like, oh my God, I got to look at this. So it's like, I want you to get the context. I was like, completely like, what the heck happened? Like, trying to do it on purpose, creating a video, and it didn't generate anything. And then why I do it by accident, it actually, like created results that were like beyond. This is, by the way, viral. People think like viral is millions. No, this is a viral. If 3 of your videos have 20 views or even 100 views, and you get a video that gets 38,000 views, this is viral stuff. And all the comments were amazing. People were saying thank you. I had 24 comments on that video, and I mean, I was completely floored. This was a personal channel, so I was not monitoring that. I had no idea that this was going on. And I'm like, I got to figure this thing out, because if I can replicate this on my business, I'm going to be doing very well, right? There's like something that happened here that people wanted. And so I spent the last 5 years doing a lot of videos for myself and my client, learning how to generate leads and how to create traction, and basically grow my business with video marketing. So I've learned everything that you should do and everything you shouldn't do. So I'm going to give you a few tips. When I talk to business owners, there are 3 things that they say to me. The first one is, I don't have time. I don't have time for video marketing. It's just too time consuming. The second one is, I don't know how. And the third one is, I don't like the way I look on video. Followed closely by, I don't like the way I sound. Anyone can relate to that? Anyone? Come on, raise your hand. I know everybody. Nobody. Do you like yourself on video?
I'm in love with myself.
Thank you. Thank you. I always get one in the crowd that loves themselves. So, by the way, the vast majority of people don't like themselves on video. They don't like the way they look. They don't like the way they sound. And there's no cure. There's absolutely no cure. What probably is with that young man in the back is the habit of seeing yourself on video. After a while, you stop caring. Right? We know what you look and sound like. It's just like me. I hope that I looked and sound like George Clooney, but it's just not in the cards for me. Right? It's more like Uncle Fester. But that's the reality of the thing. And it's just, as you're doing videos 10, 20, 30, you just stop caring. So the real cure is to really get busy and doing it. One of the things you need to understand with video marketing is what marketers, I was looking at a study that said that videos are putting 1,800% more engagement than text and pictures combined. That's what we're seeing right now in terms of engagement. Can anyone, like, you've noticed in your feed you're getting a lot more videos. Like, can anyone like say, yeah, actually, I will stop and look at more videos than I used to? Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah, it just, all of us, it's like it stops us in a crack. And that's 18 times. 18 times more engagement. Like this, if that is not like, sends all the alarms in your head saying, okay, I really have to seriously look at videos, that's 18 times. You get my attention if you say you're going to double your engagement. Doubling is amazing. 10 times is like, oh my God, this is 18 times more engagement with videos. So you have to get that, and this is really what we want. Now, 3 things that we love to share on social media and on the internet. This was done with a study that looked at thousands of articles, and this is the results. 25% of what we share is either inspirational or educational in content. That's 1 out of 4 shares is either inspirational or educational. The second one is 17% funny. Like LOL, right? This is funny. We love that. And then the next one is 15% is entertaining. Like the music, the thing, and whatnot. But I want you to pay attention to 25% because this is really where you and I can make a difference. The young man in the back is actually, as you said, he's a comedian. The vast majority of us will fail miserably if we try to do comedy. And the simple reason is we're not funny. It's actually an art to be funny. And then the last thing I'm going to recommend for you is trying to do a funny video, because there's a huge difference between being laughed with as opposed to being laughed at. And we've all seen those videos, like people trying to be funny, and they're like, oh, my video is going viral. And I said, yeah, it's going viral for the wrong reason. People are laughing at you, not with you, right? So don't try to do something funny unless you're actually a professional comedian and you can do funny. Where we can make a difference as business owner is in the educational content, teaching people. So let me show you the 3 essential video that every single business owner need to have in their arsenal. And the first one is the how-to video. How-to videos is we can't get enough of how-to videos. Like collectively, we just love this stuff. Who has been in the last 30 days search for a how-to video on YouTube or anything? Raise your hand if you're, yeah, just about every single one of us. Who has done it in the last 7 days? Who's doing it right now? Please stop. Okay, listen to me, please. All right. So that's the deal. We love how-to videos. So here is Chris Sweeney, owner of Frameworks in Miami, and they have a. If you stayed in a hotel in Miami Beach or in the Caribbean and whatnot, chances are that the frame in your room or in the halls were framed by them. They do frames by the thousand. And the type of content they were producing was always content about the front of the house, the beauty of the art and how everything was great and always going in a room and the beautiful art. And they were not really getting anywhere. And they created this video, which is a step-by-step how to face mount to acrylic. How do you do it, right? And this is what they got organically within 7 days. Now they have 600 people that like their page, right? So do you see like the average number of reach they were getting on their post was between 50 to 100. That's a huge jump, and all it was a how-to video, which took a couple of hours to produce. Just follow the process of how you do something, took that video and uploaded. This was not a massive production. This was done with a standard camera like this on a tripod with a microphone. And they got over 2,500 unique viewers and 176 engagement. A lot of the engagement was actually people saying, I didn't realize how complicated that process was. People just wanted that. So if that is a case study for you to get that's what people want to watch, which actually resulted in a business for them. They actually sold some products because of that video, which was completely organic. This was an amazing case study. Now, the second video that you need to have is every single product or service that you have should have a video. Every single one of them. Like if you have 10 products and services, if you're a digital marketing agency, every service you have should have video. And and that video should be posted on the website, on the landing page, explaining what that product or service. And there's this very specific reason why. Is because everything being equal, your competitor's page without a video and your page with a video, they're going to stay 10 times longer on your page. I'm making that number up. I don't know, it could be 12 times, it could be 15 times, but they're going to spend about 10 seconds on your competitors, and they may spend a minute and a half, 2 minutes on your page watching the video, because if you are giving, every single one of us, if you're given a 500-word text or a video, who's going to pick the video? Raise your hand. Right, most of us is going to pick the video. We're going to be watching this. So that is actually really amazing for SEO. We have SEO people. One of the signal that Google loves is the length of time people will spend on the page. So if you have the average length of time that people spend on the page being over a minute and your competitors in 10 seconds, you will win every single time.
But you still need the 500 words.
But you still need the 500 words. I didn't say not to put. By the way, you can look at that. It still has the words. Yeah. Still has the words being optimized in the video on the right. Right? Now, the third type of video that you want to have, and this is something I discovered just recently, is the how much does it cost video. That actually, I didn't used to have that. I used to have a different type of video you need to have, but that floored me when I got to the core of that. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Oh, by the way, no, before I do that, when I talk to business owners about creating videos on how much does it cost for digital marketing, how much does it cost for SEO, how much does it cost for a website, this is what people say. It's like, I don't want to give away my pricing. It depends. And I may lose business because people may see a price that scared them away. And that's all of this is completely legitimate. But let me show you something that may change your tune here, because I think that a lot of people are not realizing what they're standing in front of. Who is familiar with SEMrush? Where are my SEO people? SEMrush has a tool in there that's called the Keyword Magic Tool, which in my opinion makes SEMrush worth its price in gold. Let me show you what I mean by that. If you go to SEMrush and put any keyword in the Keyword Magic Tool and you say, give me the questions, and in this case I put hearing aids, it's going to give you the top 10 questions people ask around that keyword on the internet. Let me say that again. If you put a keyword and you ask for the questions, it's going to tell you the top 10 or top 20 or top 30 questions people ask around that keyword. That should, for every single person in this room in digital marketing, should have your eyes open. That's people, they're asking for that. Your job is to answer the question. But look closely here. 7 out of 10 first questions are around pricing. These are the top 10 questions around hearing aids. 7 out of 10 questions are about pricing. People want to know how much do they cost, how much are hearing aids, does Medicare pay for hearing aids? Everything is around cost. And you could say, okay, this is hearing aids, this is old people, they want to know how much it costs. Well, let's look at plumber. Plumber is 5 out of 10 is around cost. Let's look at remodel a kitchen. 8 out of 10 is a cost. That's what we collectively want to know. And it makes complete sense, right? If you're looking at anything, we want to know how much it costs. So it's like the opportunity for us is that if that's what people want to know, we might want to position ourselves as being the answer to that question. Now, you can answer that question with, well, it depends. Does it depend how much a kitchen remodeling costs? Yeah, of course it does. You're not giving away your pricing. You're not telling people, by the way, this is how much I charge. You're just answering the question they want to know. How much does kitchen remodeling cost? Well, you could start with, it depends. If you want a basic kitchen remodeling, may cost you $10,000 to $15,000. And if you want to do a whole thing with marble and granite and all this stuff, it may cost you close to $100,000. You can give that answer, but what it positions you as a business owner, it positions you with the one that actually is answering the question. What are the odds that these people may contact you for a quote or for business? Chances are really good. So that's what actually blew my mind. So what I do is I take any question and I go to YouTube and I look and I use another tool here which is called TubeBuddy on YouTube, which I highly recommend to all of you download. They have a free download. It costs a little bit of money if you want to have all the features, but you can do a 30-day trial. By the way, same thing with SEMrush. So TubeBuddy, what I do is I took the question, and I want you to look at that because this is mind-blowing here. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone in the digital marketing space. I put on the right side, and if you the question that I put is how much are hearing aids? And the right side TubeBuddy is telling me that there's not an enormous amount of search volume, if you look at the bar up top, but this is very low competition, which means that this video is very good for us to produce. We don't have a lot of competition. Now I want you to pay attention to another thing. Look at the first 5 videos on the page. Is any of them answering the question? The answer is no, by the way. What do you think if you produce a quality video that say how much hearing aids cost? What are the chances that your video is going to rank?
It will rank higher.
Yeah, it will rank higher. You are answering the question. Now let me say that again. People are asking that question, and there is no content that actually answers that question. And that's one keyword, one industry. You look at any industry, any keyword, and you're getting page after page after page of missed opportunity for people. Like, look at all these 5 people. These are the top 5 videos. If I put that question, YouTube is telling me, okay, I don't have the answer to your question, but here is 5 related videos, which actually one of them is type of hearing aids, which is the third video is types of hearing aids. It's not even close. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, that for me, that when I saw that, it's a massive opportunity for every single digital marketer to actually take advantage. Here's what we want to know is how much does it cost? Produce content, written content or video content answering that question, and we'll get you to rank. All right, I want to talk about a myth and a bad habit with video. We're going to spend a little bit more time than the others, but I want to kind of like insist on that. The 2-minute mark. Right, everybody has heard, like, you know, the maximum length for a video is 2 minutes, right? I actually saw recently on LinkedIn someone that analyzed the videos and say the ideal length for a video is 2 minutes and 37 seconds, right? So let me show you a video here. Who have seen the Golden Circle Simon Sinek video? It's not the what, it's not the why, but no, it's not the what or the how, it's the why. You do what you do that people buy your products. Well, it's been seen by 35 million people. That video is 18 minutes and 3 seconds. I watched every single second of it. I actually watched it twice. And the vast majority of people that saw that video saw the entire thing because it's an amazing video. It puts the 2-minute rule to crap. I mean, it's not true. The truth is if your video is boring, we will watch 10 seconds of it. And if it's great, we'll watch 30 minutes. There's no such thing as 2 minutes. So in other words, don't create sucky video. Just create good videos and people will watch it. They just need to be as long as they need to be. And then as short as you can. So what I mean by that is just create the video length. If you think you need to have 5 minutes of content, then it's 5 minutes of content, as long as it's good. But look at the video and then look at it in terms of, is there anything here I could remove that is extra? Right? And then if you have that, just take it out. But if it needs to be 5 minutes, then be it. 5 minutes, perfectly fine. So 2 minutes is baloney. The second thing that I want to talk about video marketing, which is a bad habit, is creating commercials. So people are like, okay, so we want to do video marketing, and then we're going to create a commercial. We're going to have a full film crew, and we're going to have makeup, and we're going to have stunt doubles, and we're going to have all this stuff, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars and whatnot. Now, by show of hand here, when you go on YouTube and you search for a how-to video, everybody said they were looking, and then you have this ad that plays, and you have the little button that says skip ad. Raise your hand if you skip systematically on it every single time. Right, everybody, every time I speak at a conference, every single hand goes up. So here's my question. Why on God's green earth would you think a commercial is a good idea? We don't want to watch a commercial. That's not what video marketing is about. Don't do a commercial. Now you could have a promotional video if you want to show it in a showroom or at a trade show, but that's not what video marketing is about. It's not about commercial. It's about creating good content, how to, and how much does it cost. That's what we want to watch, not your commercial, because we're going to skip on it every single time. All right, the second thing that you need to do to create traffic to your website is SEO. Right, this is, you know, and I know I've talked to a lot of business owners that have been burned at one point or another by someone that did bad SEO on them, but it's like, you know, really, are you joining the group or are you just? No. Okay, great, no problem. Listen, it's really no point if you're going to have a website in 2018 and you haven't done your SEO on it. It really makes no sense. You have multiple SEO people here. Every single business owner should have their website optimized. One of the things that's really important is 4 out of 5 mobile users actually search on their phone to find a business. That's, you know, should be, you know, give pause to everybody in the room. And you know, you can spend every penny you have to have an amazing website, but if you don't optimize it, you know, really, what's the point in having a website? You need to make sure that you have it optimized. Tonight, I'm not going to go in details because I have a lot of people that know SEO much better than I do. My point is really, you just need to have SEO. One of the things that everybody needs to know, and it's a conversation that I have a lot with business owners, is the intent to buy versus no intent to buy. And people try Facebook and it doesn't work, or they try Google AdWords and whatnot. Here's what you need to understand in digital marketing in 2018 is there is no intent to buy on Facebook. None. None. We don't go to Facebook. Who has gone to Facebook ever to look for a product and service? Nobody. We don't. That's what we go to Google for. The intent to buy on Google is super strong. So if you want to sell product and services, you need to make sure that your website is optimized for Google. This is what we do. We go to Facebook to browse at funny pictures, at funny stuff, and this is where we collectively give our attention to on a daily, hourly basis. But we go to Google to look for products and services, so it needs to be optimized for that. 2 things I'm going to say about the difference also with Facebook and Google. You know, Google is optimized for primarily for keywords and location, so you need to make sure that your local SEO is actually you know, properly done. And on Facebook is more location and behaviors. That's really the key difference there. Now, one thing you need to understand with also the difference between Facebook and Google is the click-through rate. The average click-through rate on Google is 2.7%. That's the average nationwide. And actually on Facebook, it's a little bit lower. It's 0.9% average click-through rate. It's great because this is what we're looking at, but that's the average click-through rate. So in terms of talking about Google, you need to have your website optimized. I think everybody knows here in the room that you need to have your page optimized, your schema done, your page title done, your description. All this needs to be done. Again, this is not a technical SEO presentation. This is just like you need to have your website optimized to have it done. Now, the third thing, obviously, to drive traffic to your website in 2018, obviously, is social media, right? It's just like you can't, we can't sidestep that. So let me talk to you about things that we need to stop, because I have business owners that come to me and they show me their stuff. They've either tried social media, they've tried Google, they've tried some stuff, and this is what I see more often than not. This is actually a local client. I go on their Facebook page, and then I look at the last 10 posts on their Facebook page. Unequivocally, this is the type of stuff that I see over and over and over again, where they're being sold daily or weekly posts to put on their Facebook page. And this has to stop. This does not work. Nobody cares. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the post, actually these are the 6 first posts. I didn't have space to put 10, so I put 6. But if you notice that the first 3 have 1 like on them. And I was like, who is that? I'm like, that's the marketer liking their own stuff. That is sad, okay? This is not what Facebook is about. Like if anyone is saying, okay, you need to have daily posts on your Facebook, or we're going to put 2 posts today, it's nonsense. It's really nonsense. It's actually detrimental. You're teaching, the algorithm of Facebook is going to penalize you because what they're seeing is you're posting boring shit. Facebook is not in a business of showing your boring shit to people. It's not. It's actually in the business of the opposite. It wants to show interesting things so people come back. So this is the last thing you want to do. You know, marketers need to stop doing this kind of stuff. You know, if you're in a business and people come to you and it says, well, we want to have daily posts, and it says I don't think it's the right thing to do. You know, I do not go to Facebook to have you post yet another article about something that you think is relevant and I want to see. Here's the thing, I don't care. And you don't care. And the reason, and how we know that I don't care and you don't care is because Facebook is in a business of likes, comments, and shares. And if your posts have no comments, no likes, and no shares, you have figured out how not to do it right. That's the deal. Like, it's just, you know, if you look at your posts, the last 10 posts, no likes, no comments, no share, you're not helping your cause. And I've heard someone saying, oh, it shows a potential person coming on your page that you have fresh content. I'm like, really? I go to your page and I see that you have 12 posts and none of them have any like, any comments, any shares, any engagement, and I think that that's good for you? I don't think so. It's just really not. All right, so here's what we need to start doing on social media. We need to ask ourselves 3 questions, and we need to get a yes on at least one of those questions on any post we're putting on social media. The first one is, does it add value? Does this post add value to anyone that's going to see it? Right? The second one is, does it make me smile?
I love that picture.
Thank you. Does it make me smile? Does it add value or does it make me smile? And the third one is, does it make me want to participate? Do I want to engage with that content? If you're getting a no, which is, I can tell you that the 6 posts that we saw, that every single one of them would be a no for those posts, then do not put it up. You need to get a yes to at least 3 of that, to at least one of those 3 questions, right? Sometimes it's not easy to say, you know, making people smile, but you can at least make people want to participate by asking questions, engaging people. Okay? So the other thing that you have to be is you have to be authentic. I see way too many companies actually being what I call is like the fake everything is great all the time. Everybody smiles, everybody is having a good time. This is not real. Be authentic, be you. Don't, be human. Show your human side. Show what's going on in the business. It doesn't always have to be like everything is great. We have a new arrival of product and services. Show what's going on. I mean, you don't have. I'm not saying, okay, I just busted my knee and I'm hurting, but you can just show what's going on. You have just activities around your business. Show that. All right. The fourth thing you want to do in 2018 and 2019, it's still blogs and content. But I'm going to actually tell you how to do blog and content the right way. So here's what I see with bad habits with marketers out there with blog content. The first one is you need lots of content. Lots of content. That's what Google loves. Google loves you posting a huge array of blogs on your website. And that's not true. That's not true at all. So it makes no sense whatsoever for you to post a lot of content. The second thing is that Google wants fresh content. It has to be fresh. It has to be new. It's not true either. There's no evidence to show that Google will favor a fresh new piece of content versus an old piece of content. No evidence whatsoever. And the third thing is it needs to be short and sweet. Now, people love small pieces of content. It's not true. These pieces of content done by Seth Godin. Seth Godin is a professional writer, right? He makes his business writing 100 words pieces of content. That works for him. Here's the breaking news for all of us. It doesn't work for us. It works for him, doesn't work for us. Okay? This type of stuff is so 2012. Like we were told in 2012 that you need blog, you need a lot of content, and I still see people, and I'm not going to name names, but I see still people who says, yeah, you need to have a daily blog on your website, or at least 2 blogs a week. And I see the blogs, and it's like 400 words of garbage that nobody reads, nobody cares, and this is not helping your cause. So here are better habits. Focus on quality. If you need to still create content in 2018 and 2019, but it needs to be quality content. The one piece of content, one quality, high quality piece of content is far more valuable than 100 garbage pieces of content. And I see that all the time. People have hundreds of blogs. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we talk to them is we look at those blogs and they're generating, if they have not generated any traffic in the last 12 months, we take them out. They're actually counterproductive. Create useful content. Highly resourceful, useful content that people enjoy. Your content has to be, what Google loves is relevant content. Relevant content to the keyword. That has authority and is sticky. What I mean by sticky, that means that people are spending a lot of time reading it, right? One of the techniques that we use is the Brian Dean skyscrapers technique. It's an amazing technique, which is, he has a course that's called SEO That Works. By the way, if you want to learn SEO, I would highly recommend that you look at this course. And the skyscrapers technique is basically you look at the top 40 pieces of content on any keyword, and your job is, the skyscrapers technique is to make yours better than those 40 pieces of content. Which means that it involves an enormous amount of research, an enormous amount of work. But since I just told you that you should not be writing 100 pieces of content that nobody reads but only do one, what we do with some of our clients is write 1 piece of content per quarter. 1. Because that's all we need. And I have some case studies I'm going to show you that actually did the work where we spent an enormous, I'm talking about some of them we're spending 50 to 70 hours per 1 piece of content. Took us 3 months to do it. But that piece of content made the whole difference. Noah Kagan actually did a study on 100 million articles. And here's what came out of that study. 100 million articles published on the internet. That 30% of all the best pieces of content out there is utility, useful content. That content that actually teaches you a how-to piece of content. It's useful in nature. The content length of the best pieces of content was 3,000 words. 3,000 words. That's a lot of writing. Right? But that's what people like. They like long form of content. They don't like your 500-word blog that actually is not saying anything. It's not even toilet reading, seriously. It's awful. Positive emotion was 77%. Currently, you could think that in the current climate of what we're dealing with, all the negativity, that it's either positive or negative. Actually, we don't like negative content. What we really like is positive. 77% of all amazing content is actually positive in nature. And the looking good factor. The looking good is the social currency of a piece of content, which means that if I share that piece of content, it makes me look good. So that was a huge factor in creating content. You mean you're creating content that people would say, you know what, I got to share that with my friends on Facebook because it makes me look good. So let me show you a couple of case studies here. We created a list blog for a law firm in Fort Lauderdale that's dealing with debt collection. And what our research showed that debt collection questions a lot about phone harassment. People were looking at that. So we created a piece of content that was called The 10 Important Things to Know with Phone Harassment Calls. That's the content that we created, which was over 3,000 words. Right? Took us a long time. It took us a month and a half to create, do all the research and whatnot. Here was the result with that piece of content. It took us a month of research. It became number 6 nationwide for phone harassment and number 1 locally. So instead of trying to do 20 pieces of content, we just created 1, and that 1 piece of content gave us that type of results. Right, that's actually pretty amazing. Another type of content that we created is a crowdsource content. It's actually the SEO that works. Brian Dean methodology teaches that. So we created a piece of content called How to Display Art. We asked 357 designers nationwide a tip on how to display art, and 54 of them responded to us. So we had to research all the designers in North America, reached out to 357, and 54 of them came back to us and said, well, here's how you do it. So we created a piece of content that was 54 experts share their best tip for displaying art in the home. That took 3 months of research and production to do. But what that gave us is, again, number 7 position nationwide and number 1 position nationally. One post. 1 post. Nice. 3 months worth of work, 1 post. That piece of content is still in the top 5 piece of content that drive the most traffic on their website.
I know you're recording, but how long was it? Was that 3,000 words?
It actually was not in terms of word, that was 54. There was probably a lot more than that. But by the way, what's amazing with the crowdsource is we didn't generate the content. The 54 people did. Yeah. What we did was the research. So we gave someone, you can give that job to an intern, find me as many interior designers as you can in North America. And they came back with a list, and I says, okay, now send to every single one of them an email, says, we're doing a research paper and everything, would you please give us your tip on how to best display art in the home? Now we knew we were aiming for 10 to 15% conversion rate. We got 54. And then we create a piece of content. So what we did is put a picture. You can look at the piece here. Each person had their picture, their name, and what they said. And that resulted in 7 position for how to display art nationwide, number 1 locally. And we just, listen, there's no freaking way that anyone can bump us from that position, because it's such an amazing piece of content. Now people stay with it. It's 54 people. They're going to stay a long time with it. So it does the work. So just basically for all of us here, it's like the proof that, you know, one big piece of content. I'm sure they would have been sold by another digital marketing agency. Let's do 2 blogs a week. And I can tell you that after 3 months, my piece of content would have blown them out of the water. No doubt. And I could guarantee you that those, you know, whatever 20 pieces of content, not a single one of them would have ranked on Google. All right, let me go here. And then the last one that we did, another piece of content I want you to look at, is a domestic violence attorney. And we created an ultimate guide with facts, helpline, support group for that. So instead of creating a piece of blog that would be boring about domestic violence, we're creating an amazing resource blog. So we created Domestic Violence, the Ultimate Resource Guide. Now, one of the things that actually we got in our research, because we did the work, you can see that there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. That's a red button that says leave the site. Now, what we actually discovered in our research is that when someone is a victim of domestic violence, they are probably scared for their well-being. And that actual button, if you click on that button, will close the page automatically. That means if someone surprises them, they can click on that button and it closes the page. That's the level of research that we have done. That piece of content took 1 month and was #1 in the local market. If you look in Fort Lauderdale and you look at the domestic violence guide, our piece of content is there. And there's nobody that is going to budge us from that. That attorney deals with domestic violence cases, and his piece of content, this single piece of content, is driving all the traffic and all the leads. Now, unfortunately, it's unfortunate for people, it's not a fun environment to be in, but obviously if a woman is a victim of domestic violence, there's an amazing piece of content. And that piece of content, by the way, has everything. All the shelters, all the resources, everything they could possibly need in Broward County. Right? That's the level of content you need to create in 2018. Oh, and the fifth thing that you need to do to generate traffic on your website in 2018 is email marketing. I actually built my business. I opened my agency in 2001, and I grew it on email marketing. I used to be one of the original spammers. I had a database of 140,000 emails, and I'd given interns. I'm like, here's a phone book. Just type it up and everything. And we used to send emails by weekly. And I built my business, and I got away from it because it would just too spammy and whatnot, and I didn't think it worked. And we got back into it in the last year, and I cannot tell you how effective it actually is to drive traffic to your website. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes when I talk to business owners when they'll look at email marketing. They want to send their newsletter or they want to send some stuff, and I'm like, I think you're missing the point. You're not a publisher of newsletter here. The purpose of your email is to actually drive traffic to your website. That's what it should, and it's very effective. So one of the things with email marketing, when I talk to business owners or marketers, it says one of the first things you need to know is, what is your open rate? You need to know, if you have a tool that is not giving you your open rate, you need to have a tool that gives you your open rate. And what is your click-through rate? Those are the two factors you need to know, because what you measure will improve. So I don't know where it is right now. Whatever your open rate is, it is, but you need to know what it is email per email so you can improve that. And there is a Watson benchmark report, created a report aggregating all the email marketing that was sent in 2018. And they came up with all kinds of data on the average open rate per industry. And it's really an amazing report. It's called the Watson Benchmark Report. Look it up, and it will give you the open rate for your industry. And I'm going to give you three. The average open rate for real estate is 28.1%, right? So if you're in a real estate business, well, you know that the average open rate is 28.1%, so you want to measure yourself against that. If your open rate is 12%, well, it really sucks badly, and you need to stop what you're doing and improve it. And if you're getting 35%, well, you're above average. For a restaurant, it's 25.5% on average. Sorry. And for marketers, it's 24.2% for us in the room. Can I get water? Charlie, can you get me some water, my boy? Or some, yeah, I'm sorry, I just got a frog in my throat. 24.2% average for our industry. So basically measure yourself against that. We're using this to know how good we're doing. And right now we're getting between 25 to 26% average open rate. So that's what you need to know. With email marketing, one of the biggest things that you need to know is that 70% of people on average open an email based on the subject line alone. Thank you, Charlie. 70%. Now that means that people have not opened your email yet. They get your email, they'll look at the subject line, and that is sufficient for them to decide whether they're going to open it up or not. You're not spending nearly enough time on your subject line. Let me say that again. You're not spending nearly enough time on your subject line. The subject line is key, absolutely key. The second thing that we look at is the from name. And if you see a company name, if you get an email in your inbox and it's coming from Catapult Marketing versus coming from Antoine Dupont, if you see Catapult Marketing, what do you think?
Sales.
Spam.
If you see Antoine Dupont.
Probably is fraudster.
I don't know.
Spammer.
Yeah, spammer, French, annoying, you know, Pepe Le Pew, you know, all that. But you're like, you don't know. If I get an email from Kevin, I'm like, okay, Kevin, I don't know Kevin. But if I get it from KVL Media, I'm like, oh, what are they? Wants to sell me something. So it's like for every single, stop sending an email from your company name. You're actually sending a signal here that I'm trying to sell you some shit, and we don't want to do that. Like, just, you know, pay attention to that. So if your open rate sucks, by the way, if you send email marketing and you see that your open rate sucks, it's one of the two reasons. The first one is your database may be old and stale. We used to have a database of 140,000 email, which we broke down to 50,000, which we broke down to 5,000. I remember every time I was crying, oh my God. Today, my email database is about 1,100 emails. I took all the crap out. I had thousands of emails that were not valid. They're old and stale. By the way, the average length of an email is about 18 months. Like if your database hasn't been cleaned up in the last 18 months, it's majorly time to do it. Just get rid of stuff. You can look at it. People have never opened your email in the last year. They're not going to open it. Take them out. They're not interested. They don't want to. It's better to have a high open rate. It's better to have actually an audience that care and wants to see your stuff.
Money, right?
Say again?
Saves you money.
Saves you money.
Do most like providers like AWeber and stuff like that have tools to find out if they're?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can download your databases like anyone that has never opened an email. Yeah, absolutely. You can look at that. You can actually save the people that open your email. But you can look at that. Like people that have never, ever, ever, ever clicked on your email. Take them out. They're not doing you any good. You know, it's much better to actually it's much better to have 300 people that are like, oh, wow, I'm glad you have your content, as opposed to 3,000 that couldn't care less. Yes?
We actually did that. I have a 40,000 person email list right now. And at some point we purged about a third of the list simply by going through the list and seeing who hasn't opened any of the last 6 emails we sent out.
Right.
And then we sent them all a message and said, you haven't opened any emails. Do you still love us? If you do, please resubscribe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect thing. You can send them an email and it says, listen, we haven't opened, exactly what he said. Perfect thing. And if your database is not old and stale, maybe your content sucks. Now there's a particular, no, but I really mean it. It's sometimes I see news, a lot of businesses still send newsletter, and I'm like, listen, I don't know how it is for you, right? I don't know how it is in your inbox and when you're receiving emails, but I'm getting way too many emails in my inbox. And if I see an email that is like, like long, it's got all kinds of articles and pictures and everything, most of the time I go like, oh, I don't have time for this stuff. Or I'll put it in the folder to read later, and I never do. That's the reality. So, one of the things that I would recommend to all of you is to actually look at creating content that is a lot simpler. Just text only, no images. Just provide value. Just give something that is resourceful with people. A nice subject line, your first name, your last name. Give them half the article and give them a link to click more, because remember, it's about generating traffic to your website. But do that, and we're getting amazing open rate right now with this method. What I see a lot.
In the body.
Say again?
What about video in the body?
Well, that was the next point. This is actually creating amazing results for us. So again, I told you, yeah, video marketing is really something you need to look at in 2018. And I'm telling you, what our clients that are actually doing that, which we're doing video marketing with, are getting amazing results. Because again, it's the same thing. You're looking at an email and you're like, oh my God, I don't have time to read all this stuff. But then there's a video, so I click on it, and then now they're engaged with your content. So this is really effective, because remember, we really would rather actually watch a video content than any other form of content right now. So really go and do that. So what's next in 2019? If you're going to do video marketing, allow yourself to suck. Yeah, this is my first video here 5 years ago. Look at that beauty. Isn't that an amazing video? It's horrible, but I went for it. You know, I just used a webcam. I went on my desktop. It's a PowerPoint in the background with a webcam. It was awful, but I just went for it. So if you're going to do video marketing, you're not going to get good at it right off the bat. You know, it takes a learning curve. Now, you can hire a guy like Kevin, which will do a great job for you, but it's not easy. It's not easy to pull off, and if you want to do it yourself, you're going to suck, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just go for it and allow yourself to suck. Be patient. A lot of people, everybody knows Gary Vaynerchuk in the room, right? Right, everybody knows. A lot of people forget that Gary Vaynerchuk, for 18 months didn't have an audience. And 5 days a week, he created a video on the wine library and had 0 audience. But he stuck to it. And I think the problem with a lot of people in the business, and we were talking about this earlier, is people don't nearly have enough patience with digital marketing. Get started now. You know, if you don't get started with video marketing, this is going to be your site. You're going to be behind people, and you're not going to have the first mover advantage. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. A lot of people forget that. SEO people know that. But the truth of the matter is YouTube is primarily a search engine. That's what it is. Google is the first search engine, first search engine in the world. YouTube is the second one. Facebook is predicting that by 2020, all the content on their platform will be videos and will be consumed on a mobile phone. So in terms of your strategy, you might want to consider that. And Cisco is predicting that by 2019, 80% of all content on the internet will be videos. 80%. That's next year, right? Videos, and again, I'm putting the emphasis on that. Videos will give you authority. It will give you credibility. And by far is the most effective ways that we have found to generate leads for ourselves and our clients. It's wide open in video marketing. It's not too late. A lot of people say, well, is it too late? It's been there and everything. Actually, it's wide open. It's really like open fields in front of you. As I was showing you with the how much does it cost videos? Like if you look at, time after time after time, this content has not been created. So I'm just telling you, there's just nothing in front of you. And quite honestly, if a French guy with an accent that looks like Uncle Fester can have a viral video, well, so can you. And on that note, thank you very much.